You all know the saying, innocent until proven guilty. And of course, there are always three sides to every story: your side, their side, and the truth. But baby, when it comes to this whole situation with Clayton Echard from The Bachelor and Laura Owens, things get a little messy and twisted. We've got Clayton, Greg, Mike, an unnamed victim, and probably more people who haven't even stepped forward yet, because some don't even want to say her name or admit that they were even associated with her. Now, lean in a little closer. Here's the reality. Men are often ignored. We push them to the side because society defaults to believing the woman's story first. And I can't, I have to admit, I'm the same way. Even though the law says innocent until proven guilty, most people look at the man as if he already did it and he's already guilty. And it's on him to prove his innocence while we comfort our own, the woman. And I know that shit sounds ass backwards, but just stick with me for a little bit. So here we are playing catch up, and I finally get an opportunity and some time to listen to an interview that Clayton did telling his side of the story. Now, normally, like I said, as a woman, when I hear another woman speak out as the victim, I'm biased. I will admit that. And I pay attention to her pain, her experiences, and what she's been through, especially if it involves a man, putting her through it. You know what I mean? Because most of us, some of us, we identify with that. We can relate to that. But God damn it, when I started digging into this mess, into this story, the red flags were impossible to ignore. Laura was clearly unstable, crazy as a goddamn bed bug or a fruit fly, like my grandmother likes to say. And honestly, someone has to say it. That's when I realized, oh, we got a live one here, okay? It didn't take long at all to see that the men are actually real victims in this situation, regardless of the mistakes that they made early on, because people will bring that up, regardless of whatever mistakes and whatever irresponsible actions, okay? Because we're going to address that for the people in the back who, sit and stand in it. They already took the accountability. Well, Clayton, let me speak for Clayton because that's the interview I watched. He took accountability for that. But please realize Laura was also played a part in this decision that they made the night that they hooked up, air quotes. And she got pregnant with those twin baby dolls, just in case. Sometimes 3 times, the third time is a charm. So let us dive into my reaction from one of the interviews that Clayton Echard did on a podcast. And I'm probably going to repeat myself because I use a lot of voice memos to create my content because I'm always on the go. And I'm not going to play any of the interview from the podcast. You're going to have to suffer with listening to my voice for about 30 plus minutes. I apologize in advance, but let's get into it.
And he was targeted in a scam. A woman falsely claimed he got her pregnant with twins. And as Jim Murray reports, he may not be.
Since I became pregnant by The Bachelor,
The Bachelor's Clayton Echard made TV history when he became the first ever Bachelor rejected at the final rose ceremony.
And it's like, I feel like anything that...
That's why I don't think it ain't big. I mean, like you won't think something else.
Like anything in my life.
Last night was a mistake. I shouldn't have crossed that professional boundary.
11 days later, Laura Owens sent him a shocking email claiming she was pregnant with his baby.
You knew that you could not have gotten her pregnant. You said you'd never had intercourse.
I knew that we didn't.
Welcome to the Unfiltered Doll, where we do what? A little bit of cussing around here, so your parental advisory has been advised. I finally got the opportunity to watch one full interview because there are a few out there with Clayton Echard telling his side of the story, which is what I wanted to hear. I know that we have people on both sides of the POV with what happened between Laura and Clayton on that night before you found out that she was a basket case and that she was batshit crazy. And that's just my opinion. Hopefully it's not harmful, but that's how I feel. What he did let us know is, as a child, as a young Clayton, he was not always the ladies' man. It was his brother who was great in sports. He was the ladies' man, and people looked at Clayton like he was the bro and not the babe. Fast forward, he had a short-lived career in the NFL, had a 3-year contract for $1.3 million, but you're not promised that full amount. And we said the career was short-lived. So he was right there and had to make it one more week, but he ended up getting cut from the Seahawks. I'm sure during this time he found out who his friends were. People are going to be around you when they feel like you're up. The moment that you're down, those people disappear. So he let people know in the interview that he's always battled with his mental health and what was going on with him on the inside. So we have this short-lived success with the Seahawks, and now he's on The Bachelor, and things didn't go in his favor on The Bachelor, and the same thing sort of happened. People are around you while you're shining, and then the moment the shine is gone, the people disappear. So he said he's just never felt good enough. And some people would be like, oh, bro, are you putting on, you know what I'm saying? Because he's a nice looking man, but he said he's never felt good enough. After everything he's acquired, he still didn't have what he needed internally. But you have to keep in mind, hard questions in the court of public opinion, it is a rough crowd, and they won't allow him to have this moment because mental health, gaslighting, narcissistic personality are trending topics. So people tend to self-diagnose people who are out there trying to tell their story, and sometimes the lines get blurred in between the things. Lord forbid if you have any type of childhood trauma and or relationship trauma, there are going to be people on the sidelines saying, no, you're lying, or no, we don't care. Now, Clayton gives credit to his support system. He said without them, his dark moments would have won, okay? And we have to keep in mind, you can be a great person, a good person, but that doesn't mean you're not going to make mistakes and you're not going to make bad decisions. Over here, I like to say piss poor decisions, and I like to point the finger at myself. I've made several, quite a few, and I will probably make some more in the next 7 to 10 business days. However, we're talking about Clayton. So let me get off of my own soapbox, okay? So he told us something about trauma is something that creates uncomfortable environments, but through the discomfort, your growth comes. And he feels like he's grown so much as a human being placed in that type of environment because he has learned some valuable lessons from all of this that has occurred recently, especially. So it is now May 20th, and we're going to talk about Laura in this interview. And this is what Clayton let us know. Laura reached out to him a few weeks prior about a real estate deal, okay? And Clayton said he had no intention on being flirty or intimate because he's at a point now in his life where he's used to women pretty much throwing ass at him. I'm going to put this in my words. That's not what he said. That's what I'm saying. He was the Bachelor, so he's used to women flirting regardless of the situation, and he's going to welcome that because he was the Bachelor. He's been on TV, and Clayton is damn good looking, and he feels like flirting is okay. It's fine. Now, one night he said he got high as a kite on an edible. That's not how he said it. That's how I'm saying it because I'm now retelling the story that he told us. One night he took an edible, and the flirting turned into a night and a nightmare. 9 months of pregnancy that never existed, but 9 months of Laura trying to destroy him, which, face it, I'm sure there are some people who side with Laura in all of this, even after they found out what the hell happened, because people are going to throw in Clayton's face that he had no business crossing the lines since this was supposed to be a business relationship. FYI, he was loud and clear on this interview saying that he did cross the lines. He did make a mistake. He was thinking with the wrong head. This is what he said on this interview. And he let her know that the next day that that type of thing can't happen again because he felt like he didn't let her know what his intentions were. Now, I have to step in and say this. I get what he's saying. Accountability is key here. But as a woman, if I'm out here making the decision to send somebody a naughty picture, I don't know you from a can of paint, and then when we hook up and meet up, I'm giving you a sloppy toppy, I'm giving you an oral exam not once but twice, and I take that in and digest your fluids, I should not expect somebody to think that they owe me something, because my damn self was on some bullshit when I did that. And it's definitely given hoe-like activities. Somebody has to say it. It is, if you are free, you like to go out there, have fun, you're young, you like to go out there and give oral exams and pop your cat. Hey, have fun, enjoy yourself, baby. You only got one life to live. But I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the people on the screen right now. Now let's get back to what Clayton had told us. He is standing 10 toes down on letting us know she performed the oral twice. There was no intercourse. He did mention there was a moment of a little bit of grinding that occurred. And what Laura is trying to say, in between the two sessions of that oral exam, she's saying that there was leftover fluids. Now, he's thinking when all of this went down that it's a possibility based off of Google research and the low percentile that she transferred some of that fluid from inside of her mouth, inside of her openings, okay? Hopefully, if you're in the back, you get where I'm going and what I'm trying to say. All right, cool. There is a small percentage of a chance of survival from the transfer of fluids from mouth to the opening. So there was a little chance for this seed of doubt, is what Clayton said when she said she was pregnant 11 days later. Now, let's talk about the edibles real quick. Let me get on my soapbox. One thing about an edible, now you can be high as a kite and feel like you are on the moon. Now, in my experience, when I went to a few green states and I, tampered with a few edibles, although I was out of here, you know what I mean? Honey, I'm not condoning anybody to do any type of edible. I'm just telling you what had happened with me. I remembered everything. Although it was a crazy experience, I did remember everything that happened during that time. And I think it's crazy that she tried to use that as an excuse to make him feel like he doesn't know what really happened that night. Everybody's experience is different because some of y'all are taking more than a recommended dosage from down there at the dispensary. But anyway, he said he was at a stage in life where he was dealing with social media negativity, mental health, and he was using a little bit of THC to cope. He admitted that. Accountability. I have to respect that. He was also dealing with the reputation of someone who sucked. And we all know Laura sucked, but he's talking about he sucked as a man with women and relationships. When you're on a dating show or any type of reality show, unfortunately, your afterlife, after you're on TV, you have to deal with how they made you look when they edited all of the filming of the show, which is unfortunate, but that's what we sign up for when we want to go down there to the TV screen, unfortunately. Now, I've never watched The Bachelor. I know what it is. I'm not a Bachelor girl. I watch Love is Blind on Netflix, but it's the same thing. I sit there, I watch Love is Blind, I pick my favorites, I pick the people who annoy me, and I judge them. That is typical. So just imagine he's letting you know what he's already dealing with the people who pick and judge, okay? At the same time, this is also going to make him a magnet for these parasocial relationships in a world of people who have unhealthy relationships with people they don't even know. And here you have this woman who maybe she had a parasocial relationship with this man. And let's face it, the status of her parents and their successful career and who they are is probably helpful for her to get the golden ticket to have access to people who should not even be in the same room with her, because she's a little bit what? Crazy. I said it, all right? It's my opinion. So he's dealing with this mentally, this small chance, this opportunity that is a possibility, her showing him, overwhelming him with a pregnancy test and overload of information that she's pregnant. And this is not a woman that he doesn't even want to see her again, let alone raise a child with her. Now, he does have his family, and that is his support system. And he said that his family thought, like, there's no way, it has to be fake. He also lets us know in this interview that the family let him know that he has to move smarter in the future. Okay, he said that they made statements about the irresponsibility, but they didn't harp on it at that time because they were more so focused on supporting him. Clayton said he was fearful of his future. He didn't want a child with this stranger. And it doesn't help that this stranger is Jan and Ron's daughter. And you might say, well, what the hell does Jan and Ron have to do with their daughter's behavior? I said what I said. Now, he said her tactic is to overwhelm you. So Clayton is on edge and he can't do much of anything but survive. He said he didn't have any energy because he's nervous about the possibility. And Clayton's father told him, you have to be you and control what you can. So Clayton is still 50-50 on believing that Laura is pregnant. Now, he said he knew he wasn't dealing with anyone normal, so he wasn't sure of what she was capable of. So, of course, he's suspicious and skeptical about the proof that she had, that she was presenting to him for her pregnancy. So he wanted her to take a test in front of him in person because of the power of Photoshop with all of these documents she's overwhelming him with. He is stressed out because he never wanted to date Laura. And this is a hard pill, of course, for some people to swallow because of the decisions that both parties made on that night. But because of what took place on that night, I'm assuming it's hard to live with yourself after something like that, especially with all the bullshit that she's putting him through. And he also let us know that that very next day when they went into his car to talk after he had to show her some properties, when he let that lady know inside of his car that he crossed a professional boundary and that couldn't happen and they couldn't do that again, this is when he knew that he was dealing with someone or something else that was not going to be a normal circumstance or situation moving forward. Laura, Jan's daughter, might be somebody who can't handle rejection or someone telling her no. And once again, friendly reminder, he is taking accountability and the ownership and admitting that he was looking for a release that night. And women and men both do that. Some women, some men, they go out, have a night out on the town, look for someone on the app or look for someone in that same bar or club. They go home, have a tons of fun. Some of you do something strange for a piece of change and you don't have any intentions on seeing that person ever again. Some of you don't even want to know the person's name, let alone exchange a phone number. And that's what the walk of shame is also for. But anywho, he started to tell us about the paternity test, and they had to wait 8 weeks at the earliest for this. He also mentioned anytime she went to the doctors or anytime she would give him any of the paperwork via the email, she would never allow him to talk to her doctors when he asked, because, you know, you can release that permission for the people at the medical office to talk to the other person. She would not allow that to happen. And now she's pregnant with these twins. Now, most facilities won't do a prenatal paternity test, is what Clayton was telling us. I believe he said when you're pregnant with twins Like, it's not problematic when you're just pregnant with one baby, but if you're pregnant with twins, there's a lot of facilities that won't do this prenatal paternity test. But he said he didn't give up, and he found a place that would do this prenatal test. She agreed, but then she flaked on him and then started that dating contract BS. He said she refused to do anything or agree upon anything without her saying she'll do it if you date me, which is some desperate shit. Like, come on, are you kidding me? I'm sorry, somebody has to say it. Laura is not a bad-looking woman. I'm pretty sure you could not find a man or somebody to at least pretend that they liked you. Do you know how many men are looking for women like Laura that they can lie to, manipulate, and take advantage of? Because I feel like if you're going to force somebody to be into a dating contract with you, then obviously you must be into people playing into your face, lying to you, just as long as you feel like it's real. Now, he said what she did in return, she spun the narrative since she was refusing to get this prenatal test done at this clinic that he found who would perform this test. She goes to Reddit as this anonymous woman saying that she's pregnant by him and said that he is the one refusing to take the paternity test when it was the other way around. And if you listen to Mike's story, she did the same thing to him with that restraining order. But we're going to get into Mike another time because that we can't collaborate that with Clayton. He needs his own video. Oh, she really did him in. So in return, he had to go to the public, use his platform, and show his proof that he was the one who asked for this paternity test. So now you got Laura on social media on Reddit, and you have Clayton on his social media, and they're going back and forth. Now, finally, she takes the paternity test. Little to no fetal DNA is what came back on her test. Laura fights that and says that the issue with the transport from Arizona and the heat is the reason why the test is showing up that way. And she said that she needs to take the test again. Listen, let me tell you something. I don't know who's running. What's going on down at this courthouse that she was even getting away with this is what I need to know. But when Clayton got the news that there was little to no DNA, he went to his social media to celebrate. And a lot of people didn't like that. No, they didn't. They felt like the way he approached it was shitty. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he's dealing with a basket case. So they really don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So once again, he's looking like the bad guy. Now, Laura is going through quite a few lawyers. I don't know how many exactly. I'm just telling you what was said on this interview. And she sends an ultrasound to Clayton, and he was unable to find where she got it from when he tried to do the reverse lookup, because sometimes you can find that. So he couldn't find her original source. So now he has to deal with this same thing all over again. Like, oh my God, is she really pregnant? I just celebrated. You know what I mean? I'm paraphrasing. Still not allowing Clayton to talk to doctors, because what the hell would she let him talk to the doctors for? The lady's not even pregnant. Now, where Laura messed up at is the date on the ultrasound. You know how you have the different dates. One of the dates on the ultrasound was the day that she ate and munched on him when they met up for that one night only, where there was no intercourse. Okay? That's where she kind of effed up at. Usually that date is the date of your first missed cycle, okay? Now, she had a Dropbox with her little pregnancy files, and it is now February 2024. And on the date of this interview, Clayton told the podcast host as of 3 days prior Laura had a miscarriage, air quotes, and he's now asking her for the fetal death certificate because Clayton knew she was lying and he's on her ass. Okay? He is on her like flies on a pile of crap right now because you will not get away with this and you will be held accountable because you need to clear up my name because you were out here doing the most, doing a lot. And while you're at it, Jan or Ron, somebody, maybe your sister, somebody needs to, go ahead and give you a little is it called a 302? Whatever the number is, you need to be evaluated because, baby, you're running around here raising hell and just making people miserable. And for what? What do you gain from this? Jan sitting back, retired, allowing you to do it, participating in it because she's never done anything about you having a whole table full of invisible friends while you all were having dinner. So I blame Jan. Ron, I don't know you right now. I have experience with Jan and these text messages, allegedly, if it was her, if it was your wife, and her in this phone call that Clayton did confirm on this interview that he did a little research and it was Jan, as far as he's concerned. That's what he said. I didn't say it. So it's just like sometimes as parents, we have to take the responsibility and the ownership. If little Billy is a little off, we got to get them the resources to help them because little Billy is going to be who? Grown Billy later on in life. So what you see as harmless when he's a child and you're noticing there's some things off is going to be a problem later on. Absolutely. So yeah, pretty much Clayton is on Laura's ass after this miscarriage. He wants the death certificates. He wants the proof. He wants her to clear his name. And he said in this interview that what people didn't know is he gave her the chance and the opportunity to take the accountability, admit she was in the wrong and she was going through some things, or however you want to slice it and dice it, and she declined the offer. So now it's go time. Now, the court dismissed the parenting plan that she filed on Clayton, but here's the thing. He wants it put on record that there were no children. I want on record there were never any children. Not that she had a miscarriage. No, she was never pregnant. You know what I mean? 3 years later, here we are. He's destroyed. The mental health, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully right now in 2025, he's doing a lot better mentally. He's probably no longer interested, you know what I mean, in a particular activity. If he's out here dating, I wouldn't be. But what did she do in response for him fighting to get his reputation and his name back? Filed a restraining order. In response and in retaliation to him filing one. Okay, and they say in Arizona they give them out like free water. Anybody can get a restraining order. Is what they had said according to this interview. I don't know. I don't live in the state of Arizona. You all would have to tell me if that is true, that anybody can file a restraining order and get one. So what Clayton did was like, oh, this is perfect. This family court case is open. I'm going to use this court case that she has opened against me and use it against her by submitting this as evidence for proof of non-paternity. Because if he doesn't get proof, this lady, see, I'm trying to be kind here. She will come out later and say that she was pregnant by the Bachelor and had a miscarriage due to all of the stress from the public and cyberbullying. So he wants his name clear and on record. She was never pregnant because guess what, boys and girls? You can't go suck and say that you're pregnant. It's just not possible. Somebody got to say it. Somebody got to be blunt and say it just like that. You cannot suck twice, swallow, and become pregnant. It's impossible. And those of us who have sons This is a eye-opener for us to now sit our sons down and say, hey, listen, there are people, women out here that's going to prey on you. And don't think it's because they want your money. Some of these women are already set up for life, but they have to feed those voices in their head. And unfortunately, one of you may become victim of this madness. I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think. He did say that he's not an advocate for cyberbullying and for the people that were trying to take her down online. He wasn't a fan of that. However, he is an advocate for accountability, mental health, and justice because she tried to take everything from him. So no, don't bully her is what Clayton was saying in the interview, but understand I am going to fight for justice and she will be held accountable for everything that she has done to me and the other victims. You know, he said that lady caused damage to his pocketbook. He said it just like that. When Clayton said that she caused damage to his pocketbook, honey, I laughed so loud. Not because it was funny, but just because the word pocketbook sent me, okay? That is hilarious. And he said she needs to face justice, and I do agree. He said he would let it go if she would clear his name, but she no longer has that offer. It's now too late. He already gave her that chance and that opportunity. And this was before everyone went public with it. What I did agree with is they made a great POV during this interview. What Laura is doing is damaging for women who are really pregnant and trying to hold the man accountable. Because it doesn't matter what you did in your free time, if you were irresponsible in your free time. If that irresponsibility led to a pregnancy, it takes two to thrust and lust and to tango, right? That's what they had told me. All right. So this is damaging for those women. We want to believe women moving forward, right? But we also need to believe people because sometimes women lie. It's okay. I'm a woman. I'm a lady. And sometimes we lie. Not all the time. Not you. Okay. Because there's going to be somebody, oh, I don't lie. Hey, I'm not talking about you. I said some. Clayton, Mike, Greg, and the other victim, this is a rare case because this is out in the public. But this shit is definitely common behind closed doors. Women fake pregnancies all of the time. All of the time. Now, usually it doesn't lead down this far, right? But it's going on and it's happening and it's common. Laura is running around and has been running around living a soft life provided by mommy and daddy. However, they didn't utilize the finances to get this baby a prescription, no resources to assist her mental state of affairs. She's out here with her financial manipulation and threats, taking people to court, knowing she has an infinite amount of money to bury these people in court because you can't keep up with the money that she has depending on your financial situation and status. Now, he said he's been fortunate to fight her head to head with the help of his GoFundMe, but he did admit that she has more than he does. So just imagine what she can do with the power of money when putting these men and anyone else through her bullshit. In the beginning of all of this, Clayton did not have a lawyer. He went on, he did it all himself and found out the hard way because he felt like since he was telling the truth, that's all he needed. However, going up against someone like Laura, living a soft life, but crazy as a fruit fly and a bed bug, it wasn't enough. So he had to get himself a legal team as well. Clayton said he felt like he was an easy target online due to the aftermath of a cheating scandal that he was also previously involved in, okay? And honey, they said something about Laura tried to even change her name to dodge the accountability for everything that she has done, but that was also exposed. You know, and he also feels like Jan is the problem in all of this as well. Sister Jan, Mrs. Jan is the problem in all of this. They created this monster. I said monster, that is my opinion, and that is what I am calling her right now on today. Somebody has to be raw and unfiltered. I'm not trying to be salacious. This is just me. My name is the Unfiltered Doll. What do you expect, okay? And I'm actually handling her with my white gloves on. So I can get really nasty, but I'm trying to chill, okay? Because usually, I'm always going to give this right here.
She really wasn't. And there are people in town, honey, that would have shot her for $5.
She would chew your ass out, drop a hat. I mean, she'd rip you a brand new 3-bedroom, 2-bath, double wide asshole.
She wasn't friendly. She really was.
Clayton even shared, and it got emotional during this interview. Like, he got angry, trying to tell his story and what he was dealing with behind the scenes. He said he went down a dark path, so dark that he wanted to leave this earth. That's how far she took him mentally, because she won't take the accountability and clean up her mess while his name is being drug out here in the dirt. So just to wrap this all up, because this interview was over 1 hour long, I do have it linked in this YouTube description. What is the takeaway from all of this? And Clayton said, don't believe everything and pay attention to the signs. If something is off, listen to your intuition. He also said he knows he's not perfect and he's okay with opinions and being held accountable. He's okay with that. So that's all I got from my reaction to the interview. And I will see you all on the next video where we get back into Laura and her bullshit. Don't forget to like the video. If the hype button is available, please hit that hype button so that we can get into the algorithm. And you all have an amazing day. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Unfiltered Doll Reactions.
All right, slaves.
Oh, what you working for? Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south, I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't